Alright folks, it's a new year. I got some new gear, some brand new music equipment in my home studio, so I thought today would be a perfect chance to make a brand new annual home studio tour for music production. This is my home studio tour and how you guys can build your own studio in your bedroom. Coming right up, let's go. So what's up everybody, I am Legend. Today is going to be all about how to set up a home studio for music and vocal production in your own bedroom or your own house, wherever it may be, and all of the tools that I use personally to make the music that you hear right here on this channel. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notifications. Without further ado, let's get into this. So the very first thing that you're obviously going to need in order to create music is a computer or a desktop, a laptop, whatever it may be that you want to use. Me personally, I choose to go with Apple, so I bought a brand new MacBook last year. This is the MacBook 15-inch Retina display, touch bar, all that. So it's got a 2.2 gigahertz i7 6-core processor, I believe, 16 gigabytes of RAM and 250 gigabytes of solid-state hard drive space. It's also got a graphics card, by the way, which is great for video production. But the reason why I went with this and not the lower-end MacBook 13 inches because I do heavy video production. I could have gone with something a little bit cheaper, even something a little bit older if I was doing music, but since I'm doing video, this is the thing for me. It's also, I do highly recommend that you go with a computer or a laptop that has a solid state hard drive inside, because that's going to make your music programs run much faster. My personal recommendation is Apple because they are very reliable computers, but also they're really good for music production because they come with programs that are free like GarageBand, and that is something that I use personally to record all of my vocals. It is something that I teach heavily about on this channel. So if you want to have a program that's really easy to use but very powerful to use, MacBook is the way to go because it's only available for Apple products. The next most important, I will say, would be headphones. Studio headphones are going to be very important for you when you're producing your tracks to get the most true sound from whatever program you're producing in. So in my last video, I got a lot of flack for saying that I was producing on some Beats by Dre studio headphones. They're not the best, so I went ahead and picked up some Audio-Technica M50X. These headphones are industry standards. Pretty much everybody uses these. Industry giants use these. Novices use these. Very cheap. They're only $150. For the quality, that is incredible, I think. I have had a large difference in my mixing. Beats by Dre, they're meant for consumers. Like they purposely pump up the bass in those headphones to make it sound more pleasing to the ear. These are going to give you a more true to sound that's coming from whatever music program you're using, so that when you export your mixes and things like that, it's not going to sound funky in a different recording program. Audio-Technica M50X, really great headphones, really cheap, and I highly recommend these. A lot of people use those. So next up, you're going to need a DAW. That is a digital audio workstation, a program basically where you make your music at. And the next thing that I'm going to show you actually came with a DAW, so that's why I really love this machine, Mark III. You guys know that I produce exclusively in Machine. I love everything about Native Instruments products. They're very well made and very well reliable. They've got a lot of features and a lot of sounds. Whenever you buy a Machine or a complete control keyboard or anything like that, it's going to come with the software included. That's why I love Machine. I went ahead and just bought this Machine Mark III because, you know, I love being able to play on the pads and control the entire program through the knobs here. This is a game changer. When I bought it in 2011, I left FL Studio for good. I have not produced a beat in FL since I got Machine. So I highly recommend buying a Machine Mark II, Mark III, or Machine Micro, whatever you want to get. But just get one that comes with that software because it will change your life forever. Since we're on the topic of talking about Machine, I want to talk about keyboards. Another new addition to my studio setup is the Complete Control A25 keyboard, made by Native Instruments as well. Now this keyboard does a lot of the things that Machine does. You can control the software right here on the left side of the keyboard. I like this because it is a smaller version, so it does fit on my desk. My other 49 key keyboard does not, but this is great for just being able to control the software again, because you can control it all from here. I don't have to keep looking back to the MacBook when I don't have to. I can scroll through sounds and get presets and all that stuff. It's solely through the keyboard, so that's why I love this thing. Also, it's really well made. I love the way the keys feel. I actually did an entire unboxing video on this if you want to go ahead and check that out. Also, they're coming out with, I think it's a Complete Control M32, which is an even smaller version of this, but it's got 32 keys. That's coming out in March. I don't have that now, but I will be adding that to my collection, and hopefully before I travel, I want to have that for my travel so I can really test out an on-the-go setup, which I think would be really dope. For now, I just have this A25, which is doing pretty well. In terms of longer keyboards, you guys heard me talk about this before. This is my Novation Launch Key 49. The reason I have this and a shorter keyboard is because the shorter keyboard actually fits on my desk. The longer one, I like to have a longer set of keys to play around with, because me as a pianist, it's very unnatural for me to have to always hit the octave button. This year, I probably envision myself getting a Complete Control S49 probably, but this one works, it works great for me. Next up, we have my microphone. This is the Blue Microphones Bluebird. This is the first microphone that I ever personally bought myself. The one that I had before this was like a $75 microphone from eBay or something like that. Blue makes amazing quality microphones and very affordable, I will say, for the quality that you get. This I would consider to be not an entry-level mic, but also not a professional level mic. This is like a middle of the road. I think right now it's $250 to $300. When I bought it, it was like $450, but the price has gone down since I bought it. Very reliable. I've had it for I think almost 3 years now, so it's a very sturdy microphone, and Blue makes great quality mics, so I would highly recommend buying a Blue. You can look into getting a, I think there's a Spark out there that's even cheaper. Don't get the Yeti. What I will say is, when you're going to buy a microphone, do not buy a USB microphone. People have messaged me on Snapchat, on Instagram, on all these things, talking about how bad quality their recordings are, and they want to get better quality. How can I fix this, and what EQ can I? You can't EQ a terrible sounding microphone. You can, but it's not going to do any good. It's not going to sound any better. USB microphones are notorious for having terrible sound. You want to get yourself an XLR microphone that can plug into an audio interface. And the reason for that is because these can go through an audio interface, and they can go through preamps, which give you better sound in the end. Also, they're going to have a lot more built-in features that a USB microphone just does not have. That isn't the next most important thing I will say. And since we are on the subject of microphones, obviously I have to talk about an audio interface. So the audio interface that I purchased about 2 years ago was the Focusrite Scarlett Solo, a very affordable audio interface. The reason I got this is because it's what fit my needs. A friend recommended this to me and said that they make great audio interfaces with built-in preamps, and they are pretty much compatible across the board. Plug and play. You don't really have to install any drivers and all that crazy stuff like Inbox used to do. I hate Inboxes because they always become incompatible when you update your Mac software. That's why I stopped working with Pro Tools. That's why I stopped working with an Inbox. But it's really awesome for the money that you're paying. You're not paying hundreds of dollars. You're literally, sometimes it's on sale for like 75 bucks. So that's why this thing is amazing. It gets the job done for a very low cost. You don't need to have something super fancy, especially if you're just getting started out. Next up, we have my hard drives. These are Seagate 4 terabyte portable external hard drives. I used to use both of these to store my complete sounds, but since I got a new MacBook that has the USB-C connectors, I figured I would get some different hard drives that would actually be as fast as a USB-C. So I just use these for video storage now, to store my music and my videos to edit. I have these Samsung 500 gigabyte solid state hard drives, external hard drives. So they are a USB-C connector, which is very fast, and also they are much faster than a regular hard drive because, number one, they are solid state, and also because they are USB-C. So your computer can access the sounds faster. It can access your videos faster if you store them on this thing. That's why I got one for music, one for my video editing stuff. So I highly recommend, if you're going to get a newer MacBook or some kind of computer that has USB-C connectors, then go ahead and get some USB-C solid state hard drives for your external storage. Now, if you don't want to go ahead and get USB-C storage, or if you are in a predicament to where you have to plug in a USB type device into your new MacBook, if you choose to get a new MacBook, you're going to need something that converts USB-C to USB. That's where this thing comes in. So this is the J5 Create hub. This thing basically connects to the side of your computer. It gives you your USB C drives, but it also gives you 2 USB 3.0 drives. So this is where I plug in my machine and my Complete Control keyboard, or my machine and my Scarlett Solo, and then I can import photos with the SD slot over here. So this thing is it's necessary for me. It's not even like I can do without. No, I need this thing in order to produce the music that I produce. Until there's a connector, because I don't know if it exists, but until there's a connector that connects this USB port to a USB-C, I will be stuck with one of these. This thing has been a lifesaver. The only thing is it costs like $100 for this little thing. Then since my last video, I have repurposed my lacy rugged 1 terabyte orange neon hard drive. But since it is a rugged hard drive and it's, you know, shock resistant, I use this to back up my MacBook. I feel safest with my MacBook backups, my Time Machine backups on this hard drive, because if this thing were to drop like that or something were to like smash against it, you know, it would be a little bit more protected than a regular normal hard drive that doesn't have this shock absorbing stuff around it. Plus, you know, it's 1 terabyte. My hard drive is only 250 gigabytes, so it's more than enough space. You see that little hard drive right there? It fell off of this. Not even high. It fell off, just went bloop. It doesn't work anymore. So that's what made me want to back up my stuff on this. It will save you so much, so much. Then there are these 2 monitors right here. These are KRK Rocket 5 monitors. I don't use these monitors too often. I only use them when I want to like blast stuff in my room, sometimes to hear how a mix sounds, but I mostly listen to how mixes sound on my headphones. And then once the song's done, I'll listen to it on the speakers, but I don't use those too often. So everybody coming on here that's gonna tell me get some Yamahas or get something else, blah, 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 just don't bother, because I don't use monitors that much anyway. That's just how I work. Just leave me alone, please. Underneath these monitors, there are these 2 foam pads that you see. So those are called Mo pads, and the reason that those sit underneath the monitors instead of the monitors sitting directly on the desk is it separates and it isolates the sound of the monitors from the desk. So the sound is not absorbed into the wood of the desk. It is actually lifted up, and the sound, listen, I know it sounds stupid, but if you tried it yourself, you would see that there is a huge difference between having the monitor sitting directly on your desk and having them sit on some foam pads separated from the desk. It does a huge difference. So these things I also bought to get a better sound quality when I'm playing through my monitors. Aside from that, I'm gonna go ahead and talk about my camera gear. So next up is my camera, because my camera I don't know where I'm looking. Next up is my camera, because my camera, I would consider it a part of my studio setup now. It was before, but I didn't really talk about it in the video. But as being I don't want to say a YouTube producer, as being a producer who posts a lot of his work on YouTube and is a YouTuber, my camera setup matters to me as much as my music setup does. So this is a new camera that I bought just last year for Christmas. This is the Sony A7 Mark III. It's got the battery grip here it has 2 batteries inside there, and it basically lasts a longer time. And then the lens is a Tamron 28-75 aperture f2.8 lens, which is great because it's a constant aperture lens. I got the Rode video mic on top, you know, the basic one that doesn't require battery power, because who wants to, you know, add more batteries and charge more stuff and all that stuff. So the Sony A7 III is a part of my setup, and I just wanted to kind of talk about that in my videos, because I know some people ask like how I get the quality that I get. And there was something else. Oh, there's also another lens. This is the 28-70 3.5 to 5.6 I believe lens that comes with the A7 III if you buy the kit, which I did. And another thing that I can mention before I go is obviously my iPhone. So I have the iPhone XS Max. I actually said that right. I didn't say XS Max. This is something that I use for my mobile production when I'm producing ideas in GarageBand. I think I'm soon going to buy the iMachine application, just so I can have that and be able to take my machine ideas and put them into the program on the computer. But for now, I use this for GarageBand, for tracking all of my ideas. I use it for some video production. It's a really powerful phone. You guys know Apple, man, as much as people like to hate on Apple, they make some great products. If you guys want to purchase anything that I mentioned in today's video, there will be links down in the description if you want to go ahead and check those out, see the specs and all that stuff. If you want to make a purchase, it'll help me out because those are affiliate links, so please feel free. Aside from that, thank you guys for watching. As always, if you have any questions, I'll be down in the comments. My notifications are turned on, so I literally get notified every time somebody comments anything on any of my videos. That's why I respond to all my comments. Here is a shout out of a subscriber. Thank you for commenting. Thank you for turning on the notifications, for subscribing, all that good stuff. Thank you to my Patreons here who have been supporting me for a while. I really appreciate you guys. If you want to join my Patreon, go ahead and do that down below. As always, stay legendary, and I will see you in next week's episode. That was a terrible ending.